There's a storm building underneath the surface of everything you thought you understood about money, power, and where real opportunity lives right now. Imagine this. While the masses rush to buy stocks flaring and falling, trading on news cycles, and chasing whatever hyped buzz is hot today, the wealthiest players are quietly locking in on something few dare to touch. Something that feels out of reach, complex, maybe even risky. Yet to them, it's the single most powerful lever for building lasting, generational wealth. It's called private equity, and if it's not at the center of your investment strategy yet, it's time to ask yourself why, because what's coming next could leave you behind forever. Here's the brutal truth. The public markets are like a battlefield filled with distractions, noise, and false illusions. Every day, billions get lost chasing quick wins, overpriced stocks, and the false promises flung at us like confetti. If you're honest with yourself, you've felt that exhaustion, the constant pressure, the stress, the nagging feeling that no matter how hard you hustle, the system plays you more than you play it. You're trapped in a game designed for the fast and flashy, not for those preparing to win the long war. You want control, true control. You want to feel like your capital isn't just tossed into the ocean but laid like bricks to build an empire. Yet here you are, still watching the ticker, stuck hoping for a miracle. What if the answers lie not in the chaos on the surface, but deep underground? Private equity isn't just another way to invest. It's the secret dimension where the richest don't just grow their money, they own the power structures themselves. Real asset ownership, real influence on how companies grow and evolve, real alignment with success beyond stock price fluctuations. It's a place where deals aren't slapped together by public opinion or headlines, but forged by insight, patience, and unmatched strategy. Think about this. When an investment firm puts money into a private company, they aren't just buying shares, they're shaping the future. They get to steer decisions, innovate from the inside, cut through the bureaucracy that kills growth, and craft businesses that create unimaginable value. This isn't just investing, it's power in its purest form. For the rare few who know how to move here, the returns aren't just bigger. They're fundamentally different because these companies aren't reacting to the herd. They're racing ahead of it. You might ask, but isn't private equity slow, locked up for years? Isn't that risky? Of course it is. But here's the thing. Risk without control is chaos. Risk with control, with knowledge, with a fiercely selective eye, that's where the exceptional happen. The market's volatility becomes an advantage, a heartbeat you learn to ride instead of resist. And while everyone else flips from headline to headline, private equity investors are focused on the long game, the true game. They understand that real power isn't in the instant thrill. It's in building something impossible to dismantle, brick by brick. Now, inside this silence, there's a hidden war raging. The wealthiest are not just betting on private equity because it's profitable, they're betting because it's a revolt against the old rules that squeeze and exhaust everyone else. When public markets crash or stagnate, these private bets keep growing quietly, still in the shadows, unshaken by Wall Street panic or social media chaos. This world is not for the passive, it's for the warriors, those who refuse the false comforts and are ready to claim sovereignty over their time, their capital, and their future. Imagine standing apart from the noise, hearing the constant chatter of financial headlines fading into distant white noise. Now picture yourself inside a room, the rare room, where the strategy is patience, precision, and unshakable conviction. Where every connection, every partner, every move is measured not by popularity, but by potential. That is the difference. The wealthy who embrace private equity aren't distracted by the rapid swings. They leverage deep knowledge, networks forged in trust and insurgency, and relentless discipline that lets them find diamonds where others see risk. And here's what no one else tells you. Private equity isn't just about owning a piece of something. It's about reshaping what's possible, It's a form of rebellion against mediocrity and complacency in investing. While the world feeds you fear and frenzy, private equity invites you to step back, question everything, and redefine what it means to win. The investors who thrive here burn the rulebook and write their own, because they know progress never comes from the center, and certainly never comes from waiting for permission. This is where mindset becomes your greatest weapon. Not the comfortable scenario of chasing market trends or hoping for a bailout, but the eye of the storm, focused, fierce, and patient. If you want to join this league, a league where real freedom isn't a slogan but a daily practice, you must be ready to think differently. You must reject the idea that wealth grows linearly or that your impact is limited by the size of your bank account today. Private equity is an ecosystem where the rare align with the rare, where power multiplies through collaboration, insight, and the courage to hold steady when everyone else panics. There's an energy here that transcends ordinary investing. It's about being sovereign over your ambition, ruthless about your choices, and visionary in your patience. This is not a game for the many, but for the few who will not settle for less than what they were born to create. And the truth is this: the system you've known wasn't built for people like that. It was built to keep you compliant, comfortable, and predictable. But you are a flame, not a flicker. You are the rare spark destined to break the mold and melt systems down, if you truly grasp how private equity elevates that mission. Now, let's get real about the barriers. You might think you need billions to even start, or access reserved only for elite insiders. While the gates are higher than average, the truth is that these walls aren't impenetrable. The key is becoming an architect of relationships, a master of selective alliances, and a student of deep value creation. It's about patience and perseverance, knowing when to step in and when to wait, how to position yourself where you matter most, and how to join forces with those who don't just hedge bets, but make futures. The power to reshape your financial reality lies not in toxic quick fixes, but in embracing complexity, control, and the profound scarcity of true alliance. Private equity forces you to demand more from your partners, from your insight, from the very market itself. It forces you to become brutal on comfort, relentless on the long game, and precise in your execution. This is where your capital starts working for you, quietly but relentlessly, growing in ways that public markets never let you experience. So, when you see the biggest, most ruthless players quietly double down on private equity right now, know this: they are gearing up for a future where traditional borders blur, where sovereignty isn't a question of nationality, but of mindset, where the exceptional do more than survive, they thrive. They build networks of influence too complex to be toppled by headline panic or government regulation. They create wealth ecosystems anchored in real business transformation, not just stock prices moving up and down. If you want in, it's time to strip away what's comfortable. It's time to lean into the rare space where the radical few meet to change what's possible. To move beyond the noise and the easy distractions into a reality where being selective is survival, patience is power, and your will is your ultimate weapon. This is how to escape the illusion of freedom that keeps so many chained to surface gains and quick thrills. This is how you cut the noise, break free from mediocrity, and step into being the investor who doesn't just bet but creates, who doesn't just follow but leads. The doors to private equity aren't open to everyone, and that's exactly why now is the moment to claim your place. Not because it's easy, but because it's rare. Because the true investors are not those who fold under pressure, but those who see beyond the horizon and hold their ground when the storm rages. They are the disruptors, the visionaries, the builders of the new world. Feel that tension inside? That hunger to find out what's next? That unwillingness to stay locked in a system that's designed to tire you out? That's the call to action, one you can't ignore without giving up a part of yourself. Flip the script. Dare to see private equity not as a mystery or a luxury, but as the battleground where your fire can burn brightest and your legacy can begin. Because the future doesn't belong to the passive, it belongs to those who seize control, choose their battles, and bet not on chance, but on themselves and the power of rare alignment. If that resonates deep in your bones, don't wait. The wealthiest are making these moves right now. The question is simple: will you watch from the sidelines, or will you step into the arena where the real game is played?